Hey everybody, how we doing today? Gorgeous day here in the Florida Keys. Bam! A little bit of cloudage over there, but that's gonna miss us. But beautiful, beautiful blue skies, got some sun, little puffy white clouds. It's not 100 degrees out. The water temps are pretty good. I was running out to some spots and ran into a big school of tarpon, so I figured, might as well do my intro now. But we are at my favorite time of the year, basically September-ish to October. Many reasons there, partial because it starts cooling down a little bit. We also get a mixture of the winter fishery starting up while our summer fishery is still going on, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. The bait's going to start showing up. Tourists are gone. We're pretty much as empty as you can be in regards to tourism. We kind of lost the European and Chinese market. That was our summertime buildup, but that's kind of died off. So right now it's like quiet. Kids are back in school, so family vacations are put on hold. So it's just super quiet in the Keys. But no boats on the water, just basically me and the fishies. I also, all about the bait wise, and finally caught up, so I'm on vacation from that. I spent a crap ton of money, but then more importantly, I received it all, got it all checked in on the website. Bunch of new stuff is on there. So I'm done with All About the Bait for at least 6 weeks. I don't have to worry about that, just daily orders. I've got through and did my fourth quarter new merchandise are completed, so they're in the pipeline. So I really don't have to do anything with those for the next, like I said, 6 weeks to 2 months before I have to deal with those again. So very happy with that. My restocking is done. I do a massive restock of my normal replenishment items. I try to get it done by July, August, before the hurricane season. Then I shut off all purchasing until basically through November. So it's a mass ton of basically everything I carry. I go and order backup supplies and just get it stocked up. I received everything. Every single day I was stuck waiting for UPS, FedEx, but I've checked in everything. So that's about 40 grand worth of stuff. So done with that, and I am just ready to go. So I also, for the Key West Kayak Fishing channel, and thank you Patreon members, I did some major massive upgrades to the channel. So you'll be seeing stuff about that coming up soon. But otherwise, it's fishing time, my favorite time of the year. There's a school of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. They're doing a daisy chain there. Oh, that spooked him. Oh, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. Got him, got him, got him. Oh, I did all that pulling and he wasn't even hooked. He just had it in his mouth and didn't want to let it go. So, what's on the menu for today is actually what I'm doing, which is I've got a couple of lure tests that I need to do. One is I'm doing accessories. So I've got to just test a few accessory pieces, and then I'm also need to test a new prototype fly. My first fly that I'm going to be selling on the All About the Bait store. So after I do that, I'm supposed to be chasing after fish. And also I want to kind of go after bonefish, but heck, that kind of cuts some of the delay there by just catching tarpon already. But yeah, that's good. He hit it. Yeah, okay, I know what's wrong. When I throw these, well, here's the new bait. When I throw soft plastics with the Esky 7.5, it's very flexible. So when I set the hook, I really have to set the hook. I mean, I was setting the hook, but no, you got to really hammer it because this has so much bend to it. But oh well, let's get back. I got to get out to the fishable waters. But yeah, looking good so far. Yeah, pretty much every one of these basins have got tarpon on them. Oh shoot, look at all these right here. Oh, someone eat it, someone eat it, someone eat it. Oh, that spooked them. That spooked them. Yeah, a lot of tarpon. I'm not even out to the spots yet in these. Whoa, get up. No, Cuda. So that's a good sign. They're just getting, I think there's just so many of them. Any takers? Any takers? Oh, they're coming. They're coming. Where are they going? Can't see. This is more throw the fly waters over here. But it seems like every one of these calm bays, the wind is kind of blowing this way. So you got these sheltered bay areas, and that's kind of where I'm finding all these tarpon. I don't find them over here all the time, but I think it's just there's so many of them, they're just kind of loading up everywhere. Yeah, there's a big school of them there. Got to stay focused. I got to get out to the fishing waters. Leave fish to find fish. Look at all those. Holy crap. Holy crap, they go all the way over here. Oh, they're right there. More over there. Yeah, they're ambushing food as it comes across that front there. I'd smash them with my fly. Stay focused. I see more in this little cubby hole as well. Look at all of them. Jesus, look at all these tarpon everywhere. Look at all these. Over there. More of them. Over there. Oh my gosh. Over there. Oh, right here. Yeah, this is my favorite time of the year. I gotta walk on top of them. These guys. All these, every single one of these little cubby holes has tarpon in them. The tide is really high right now and it's cranking, so they're sitting out. There's one. Every single one of these bays. The other thing I came out here to do was to check water conditions, and this water is still green. I like to come over here for my testing because it's got white sand bottom, but it's green, and that's not good. Oh, there's finger mullet. That's all mullet there. There's some larger ones in there too. That's a very good sign. I haven't seen mullet schools for a long time. See them all here. That's very good to see. All right, so we're out here. Generally this is my bait spot, but I like coming out here for testing baits because it's got a nice white sand bottom so I can see really well. One of the things I was coming out here to do today also was to take a look at the water quality, and I got this green stuff again over here, and that's new. Well, it was the way it was last time when we had that real big heat wave, but so I thought it might fade away, but apparently not. I think this is some sort of algae is causing that green tone, because you can see it all the way out there. Normally this is pretty clear with a white bottom, so you can see really well here. But yeah, I think it's going to just take a while for this to clear up. Water temps are cooling down. It's probably mid 80s, so instead of that high 80s, low 90s as it was, it's starting to cool off. It's actually fairly nice to jump in there. It's still not cool, it's still warm, but it's not that tea bath water. So water check done over here. I didn't really see any fish around, but it's high tide, but I did see a lot of fish where I saw that clear water. So I'm thinking this stuff does affect the fish around here. They don't really like this non-natural stuff, but we shall see. So one of the main priorities for today is doing some lure testing. I've got my paddle tails as well as the new fly. The step that I'm on at the moment with the paddle tails is, again, working with the eyes. These new paddle tails, I've got the scales on it. I'm back to a thicker back profile. I've got the oversized head. That's going to allow for using the thicker bait prongs on some of the jig heads. The thicker body keeps it a little bit more rigid, especially for like trolling. But the tail action is still very flexible, but the front end is a little bit thicker, and it keeps it a little bit more firm there. And then one of the bigger cosmetic changes besides the scales is I've embedded a 7mm eye socket to add eyes. Now, one of the problems with soft plastics is nothing will stick to them. So I've got the eyes, they come with an adhesive, but they'll fall off right away. So I was testing around different ways of gluing them in with standard super glue, and that works pretty good. They'll stay on a decent amount, but eventually, because of the plastic flexibility, and then you're sticking them onto a solid flat surface with a solid item, you get that flex in there, and then eventually the glue bond will basically peel off and you'll lose the eye. Next step was to cut up the flat part of the soft plastic to give the super glue something to grab onto, to embed itself into the plastic a little bit and then hold on to the eye. It'll hold on to the eye because that's a hard plastic basically, but to the soft plastic with a smooth surface, it'll end up peeling. But cutting it up adds a little bit of more grip to it, so that works out as well. Now I'm on to the second to the last stage, and that is dipping it and basically encapsulating the head in soft plastic, clear soft plastic. So you glue on the eyes and then you dip it into hot plastisol, which is the soft plastic these are made out of, and it puts a clear coating over the top, including the eyes, and basically makes it one piece. So if you look closely, it looks like there's a gill spot there, but that's actually the plastisol dip point where I dipped it into the plastisol. Now it's got a thin coating over the entire head, including the eyes, so it's basically encapsulated it. So that's my fourth stage there, and that's kind of what I'm testing today. The concerns I had were plastic to plastic. Sometimes they'll eat each other, or one will get eaten by the other if the chemical makeup is the wrong. It'll actually degrade one of the plastics, and then it just turns into a soupy mess. If you've ever left soft plastics, mixed soft plastics in your plastic tackle box and you come up and you get a melted glob, that's the reason why there. So one, I wanted to make sure these chemicals that I'm using are not going to deteriorate these plastics. I've had these sitting for probably 3 to 4 days and they're fine, so that checks that off. The next issue I have is I want to just basically saltwater test it as well. Make sure that it won't unpeel easily, or after sitting after being used in salt water, that they don't deteriorate as well, that same sort of chemical reaction. And then third is any changes to the swimming, which I don't think. It's a very thin coating, just depending on how quickly or how long you leave it into the dip. Will build up the plastic or just put a super thin coating. Same thing with the heat. I was playing around with the heat. Hotter it is, the thinner it is, so the faster dip, thinner of a coating you can make it. As it starts to cool, it'll start globbing up on you, and then you have some thicker chunks on there basically. But I wanted to test that, and then just to see how it swims. I don't see it being a problem because how thin it is, you can barely see it there. But that's basically it. I've already tested them. Swim wise, they're excellent. Fish love them, catching stuff with it. But that's kind of what I'm testing today. Oh, in regards to the paddle tails, the other thing that I'm going to be testing is that the different chemical makeup. So this compound develops a hard shell. It's not hard, it's more of a harder plastic. Then I've got the medium, regular, and then I also have a soft. So I'm just going to kind of see. I already think I know which one I'm going to go for. Most likely it's the soft plastic, soft flexibility, but I'm just going to test those out to see, make sure that there's anything significant that I'm missing out on, because I think I am going to sell a bundle. I'm already selling the bundle with the eyes and a packet of super glue. That's real basic, but then I'm going to sell a kit for dipping the heads as well, so you can basically do the same thing that I did here, but just buy it as a bundle, where you get the paddle tails, the eyes, the glue, the plastazole, and then probably some sort of glass container or whatever. But yeah, so there we go. And the next one I've got is the old Shimano fly, my good old fly. Pretty much the only fly that I use specifically for the tarpon, redfish, snook, snappers, kudas. Everything eats these things, everything except bonefish, because it's a gurgler basically is all it is. But I'm going to be mass producing this. A couple of issues I've got is one thing I need to test out today is basically to make sure it swim right, it gurgles correctly. It's the same basic build as the existing ones. I am doing my own custom hook, since the other one originally uses a Gamakatsu, but I need thousands of hook. Like this first run I'm going to do is about 3,000, and you just can't get them to mass produce hooks for you. They just do batches, limited time. Same problem I have with mustads on my jig heads. I end up having to do them my own, and I do them in batches of like 10,000. But these first run I'm going to be doing a few. The main reason why I'm doing this is so that I could do a few color options. I could do them in bulk, and then it will be the start of my fly, since it's the one fly that I use. I kind of want to have my own. But that's basically it there. No real big design changes except the hook. But we're just going to test that out a little bit today as well. All right, so there you go. One of the things I'm looking at is when you're actually rigging the soft plastic with your hook, the eyes get a lot of pressure because you're crushing the soft plastic to jam it on the hook. And that's what I was talking about, the soft plastic, which is flexible, underneath the eyes, which are not flexible, and then you start breaking that bond, so that becomes an issue. And that's why the way I super glue them in there makes a difference. That's why coating them makes a difference. And yeah, so that sits really well there. Yeah, look at that, swims so nicely. That's again with the current. This is against the current. Oop. Weeds. Swims perfectly upright, nice and centered there. Can really see that eye. Catches lots of weeds. That paddle tail is making the moves. Nice. Yeah, so really I'm not going to do much. I just think I'm going to get a few of these wet. Throw a few just to see how putting it through the motions works. Get a couple of bites. I'll probably just throw it out some snappers and kudas just so they get torn up a bit. Maybe throw some more tarpon like I already caught. Just put a little bit of work on. Couple of the 4-inch, couple of the 2 5/8. Got the soft, the medium, and the hard. And then basically I'm not gonna freshwater rinse them. I'm just gonna marinate them in the salt water, and then just check them after a couple of days, make sure there's no weird chemical reactions or peeling occurs or anything that's going to make these non-functional. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. As long as they didn't chemical to chemical react, then that was my only concern. So yeah, there we go. And there you go, that's the gurgler. I actually have videos on how to actually make these. I make them myself. But yeah, that's my only fly I really use. So let's just go swim it around a little bit. Maybe hit some tarpon later All right, so the gurgler is basically a top water fly, so I am wanting to make sure it floats. The gurgle is because it's kind of a chugger, so as you bring against that water there, you can pop it if you want to and get a really good gurgle out of it. But I'm wanting to make sure that it get off there. I'm wanting to make sure that it floats straight. And that's all I want to do. It doesn't need to do much. When I'm doing the tarpon, I get it close but not too close, and they'll feel that vibration when that hits the water. And then once I start moving it, as soon as I see that they turn towards it or that they notice it, then I stop. I really don't do anything, and then I'll just see how they're reacting. Then I might give some little tiny pulls, and then I'll stop. Even to the point they'll swim over to it, then I'll stop. I won't even move it. I'll just let it sit there for a while, because a lot of times they think they're sneaky, and they're kind of like a cat, and they're just kind of getting into the motion, getting ready to crouch, and it's just sitting there, and they're thinking, aha, it doesn't even know I'm here. I can get it anytime I want to, and then they smack it. Or if I see they start losing interest on it, then I'll put a little pop to it. Or if I see that a couple of them are looking at it, then I might make it move, because then they're going to start fighting over it. That's also the important why I really don't care too much about changing the color beyond white, because white is important because visibility, I could see it. And the reason why I'm explaining all these things that I'm looking for is because I could see the fly and it's sitting on top. That's why I have a lot of people, well, use this fly, it's a floating submergible, blah blah blah. But that's not the point. If it submerges, then you lose it, you can't see it. And seeing it is the important part, as well as being able to suspend a bait so that when you cast it out there, it stays up top. And that's what I wanted to do, is just sit there just like that, sit on top of the water. I don't need it to sink. Those tarpon are always down looking up for baits, and this is basically a little shrimp or a little minnow that's swimming along the top, and they'll gobble that sucker up, and you get those top water hits that are just popping famous. So even like in weeds like that, that's a shrimp right there. That's what a shrimp does. It'll grab onto a weed or something, and it'll just drift with that pocket there, and you just give it a little bit of movement, just so there's a little bit of vibrations, and then those tarpon will key in on it. So yeah, it's good. I like it. So I think I'm going to sign off on this build, and then we're just going to have to start looking at sourcing the components and then get to building. But yeah, that's the Shimano fly there, coming to you in probably the fourth quarter. The other thing I want to do is to see if there are any bonefish around. I did see a couple of bonefish the last time I was out in this kind of super hot weather, since they're not as affected by it. So we'll take a quick run. I've got the All About the Bait 1/4 ounce 30-degree angled bonefish jig head, but I've got it rigged with the stubby, which is an Esky shrimp, cut 2 body sections off. This gets it down to 3-inch profile, and that tends to be a lot better for the finesse bone fishing. Less of an impact, less of a bigger profile, better chance at hookup when they're a little bit more finicky, so they don't have as much bait to grab onto without missing the hook. But we're just going to kind of cruise along this sandy edge, and even though it's still high tide, I want to just kind of see if any are around. I see some tarpons. I saw some I can't see them now. Oh, something's hitting it. Oh, there he is on it. He's on it. They're all on it. Look at him. Look at him! Snapper looking at him. Were you attracted to its eyes? Tell me, did the eyes kind of like, ooh, gotta follow him? Oh, great. Oh! He hit it. Didn't even see him there. Oh, here comes another one. Here he comes, here he comes. Oh, look at him just smelling it. Or were you looking into his mesmerized eyes? Yeah, I thought they'd be in there because there's a tarpon tunnel right there. This high water, they're just moving in and out right now. Wait till that sun comes out. This is the wrong bait to be throwing in the wrong jig head. This is a 1/4 ounce with a 4-inch. Really should be throwing the 2 5/8 with an 1/8 ounce so I could slow down the retrieve. Oh, there they are. There's a big school of them going in there. All right. That was cool. All right, we're over here to that side where I saw all those tarpon. Unfortunately, I don't know if the sun is going to cooperate. So I'm just going to scan down the line, keeping an eye for some rollers. In the meantime, I could kind of blind cast in these holes. That's what the paddle tails are good for, covering water. So let's do that while I'm waiting for the sun to come out. All right, I saw some roll in that next bay over there. So the wind and the current are going the right direction. Sun might be helping me out here, so I'm just gonna slow drift up to over there. I'll check this spot out as well. I heard some splashes. Sounded like a tarpon busted on something. I'll keep an eye on for those rollers over there. Usually when they're sitting in the current like that, they're going to stay in that basic same slot unless something goes up there and messes with them. Right there, got them. But no use running over some other ones that might be in here because there were quite a few of them earlier. All right, I see 4 of them facing me right there. Oh god dang, weeds on me. They look like an attack group. Get too close. I gotta land this one softly. Oh, let's see if one's interested in it. I think he's looking at it. I go too far past him. Oh, one's looking at it. Here he comes. Oh, he turned off. Another one's coming at it. They're swimming right past it and they're gonna come right at me. It's right there. Dang. They got a little too close. All right, I think I'm going to call it early, head on home. I really can't see anything, so it's kind of useless. I'm just seeing them roll, then I run over there, throw at them, but not the most effective way of doing things. But I got footage, which I really wanted, besides all the other 10 things I wanted to do today. But I'm going to be working on some stuff at home with this footage, so let me go get on that, because that's really going to be a big plus as well. So let's head on back. All right, we are back. I am actually editing the video. I'm getting some baseline numbers to kind of check things out here. I want this to be a 30-minute video, and then I can basically go from there. Hopefully this is going to streamline things so much more, and hopefully it works out, because if it does, and I'm going fishing tomorrow. Actual fishing, not testing a bunch of stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye.